finally upgraded my Handshow Auto Frunk to include the front foot sensor. Now this seems to have been something many people were asking for since the Auto Frunk was released, and Handshow eventually delivered. Now having seen both the Auto Frunk and trunk get installed, I've always said if you're handy at all, almost anyone can install the Auto Frunk. And if you install the Auto Frunk yourself, then you should be able to easily install the foot sensor as well. So before we get into any specifics, let's get right into the installation. By the way, if you want to fast forward to some of the specifics about the foot sensor, pricing, and discounts, I will post a timeline in the description below. You don't need to remove all of the clips from left to right. All you need to do is be able to get your hand in there and of course the foot sensor as well. I removed a total of 7 clips. After getting all of the clips out, I started from the left to right, and you can see I was able to pull down this far. Now at this point, this is kind of that argument where you need to make sure you have the proper tools, and I did need to pry at certain points. Now it looks kind of scary, it looks like you're just going to break things apart, but all of this material is actually quite durable. So I ended up putting it in between these two notches. Here's the front of the car. This notch, unfortunately, has to tuck underneath here, and I couldn't get the sensor far enough forward that this wasn't bumping up against it. So then I moved it over to the right here, and then that is in between these two notches. So there's nothing that needs to go underneath here, so I've got it right here. It's not quite right in the center. It's just off to the right of the center. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could do it to the left of the center. But for me, I just thought it was too difficult to get it right in there. Now at this point, the directions say to take the ground wire and attach it directly to the battery. I think a lot of people are going to have some hesitation and won't feel comfortable with this. So even though here I am showing attaching that ground wire directly to the battery, it is okay to attach it to a ground. Now, for example, I ended up detaching it from the battery and then attaching it to the ground where the automatic frunk is attached. Now I did make a bit of a rookie move here, and as you can see, I'm working from right to left. That's what I should have done and committed to all the way, but you can see it got a little difficult with this one. So what I did is I thought, well, all right, well, let me go ahead to the left side and start moving in where it's a little bit easier. So I went over to the left side and put in that first notch right there, as you can see. And then I went over to the next one, and again, pretty easy at that point. And then I was able to get the next one in here. But what happened was that last notch, I couldn't get it in because there was no give on the left or right. I ended up taking that left side out back again and then did it the proper way and worked from right all the way to left. Now here are a few things you should keep in mind. You will need to plug in the original cable to the physical button in the frunk. Otherwise, the frunk will open by itself within 10 seconds of closing. Now, since the button is no longer attached to the auto frunk control box, you will no longer be able to adjust the speed of the frunk opening and closing. So before you install the foot sensor, make sure you have the desired speed set. The frunk foot sensor does not work like the sensor for the trunk. You need to make sure that the doors are unlocked. Now, the trunk foot sensor will open the trunk if it senses your phone, but that's not the case with the frunk. Let's talk pricing. For the foot sensor upgrade alone, it will cost you $69. Now, if you buy the auto frunk with the foot sensor, you can save yourself 15% if you use my discount code, Tesla Guy. Now, the 15% code will not work if you're buying the foot sensor without the auto frunk. Overall, I'm happy with the auto frunk foot sensor. It adds one more way to open and close the frunk that makes it that much better. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.